Compounder. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. أصحاب الجدار قوموا. واحد اثنين ثلاثة. ما شاء الله عندكم قبيلة على الجدار هذا ما شاء الله. وصميكم الجداريون.
Yes, we studied all day, so our best.
Yeah. You memorize the hadith or no?
Which one?
Are you waiting to...
No, I memorized it.
عن ابي هريره رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قاربوا وسددوا فانه ليس واعلموا انه لم يدخل الجنه احد بعمله
ينجو أحد
قالوا يا رسول الله حتى أنت قال حتى أنا
ولا أنا
إلا أن يتغمدني الله برحمة منه وفضل رواه مسلم.
alright. ثاني.
عن ابي هريره رضي الله عنه ان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال قاربوا وسددوا واعلموا انه لن ينجو احد منكم بعمله. قالوا ولا انت يا رسول الله قال ولا انا الا ان يتغمدني الله برحمه منه وفضل. رواه مسلم.
ما شاء الله تمام. وثالث. وهذا. Next time. Faisal. You still trying to memorize it or what?
I don't think I was here that day, but
You were.
عن أبي هريرة رضي الله
Oh no, he wasn't here that day, was he?
قال عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قاربوا وسددوا واعلموا أنه لن ينجو أحد منكم بعمله. قالوا حتى أنت يا ولا أنت يا رسول الله قال ولا أنا إلا أن يتغمدني الله برحمته.
يعني برحمة منه وفضل. رواه. Don't you say Abu Hurairah.
أخرجه مسلم.
Yeah, there you go. Every time. Hassan. Safe. No. حفظته أم لا؟ محمد.
عن ابي هريره رضي الله عنه قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قاربوا وسددوا واعلموا انه لن ينجو احد منكم بعمله. قالوا ولا انت يا رسول الله قال ولا انا الا ان يتغمدني الله برحمه منه وفضل. رواه مسلم.
All right. You're next.
No, you.
Yeah, it is you.
عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قاربوا وسددوا واعلموا أنه لن ينجو أحد منكم بعمله. قالوا ولا أنت يا رسول الله قال ولا أنا إلا أن يتغمدني الله منه برحمة منه وفضل. رواه مسلم.
Come on, dude. أنت ما حفظت هذا من أبيك. Come on. Come والله كم سمعت هذا الحديث في بيتك. Come. No, there's no ضيف. We know who his father is now, so he's got to memorize the hadith.
I don't.
And tell your father, does he teach when he comes back?
He doesn't know.
But if he does teach, he can pick up my sons too. He can, tell my son, stand up, memorize, read the hadith, Since I do it to you, then he can do it to my sons. Yes. Anybody else, Abdul Malik? Oh. Fareed.
I was like, book.
Write it down.
Write down the hadith.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that hadith is about.
Akhi, look.
It's gonna pop up too.
Who wrote this book?
You did.
Okay. I wrote every single hadith in this book out by hand. I have it in a notebook at home.
Yeah.
And when I read this book, I read from what I wrote by hand. I wrote out every hadith by myself, by hand.
The only part that I read the first part of the book, the introduction. I read that, and I found some book. I found one downstairs, but it was unknown to Robert, so I had to get it back to him.
I just borrow it and write the hadith. Just tell him, can I hold the book? Write the hadith out. It's better to memorize from your own handwriting than it is to memorize from here. Why is that? And you should know this because I spoke about this in the Seeking Knowledge book.
Yeah.
When I spoke about the chapter on memorization.
Because it's like knowledge is like flying, but writing, قيد.
I didn't say that.
No, but that's how it is.
You come with the Socrates stuff. I didn't say that in the book. That's what like he's giving a talk from the Jamaat al-Tabligh. You know, it's like, what is this, man?
That's from the line of poetry.
What, say that again?
They're like العلم صيده والكتاب يقيده, something like that.
But you know a line of poetry.
Not a lot.
Do you want me to tell him a good line of poetry to give him something about his statement here? ستعلم إذا انجلى الغبار فرس تحتك أم حمار. What does this mean? What does this mean? Because you know in the fighting, when there's a lot of dust, it gets kicked up in the air. So a person, he might be on a donkey, but he thinks he's on a horse because he's trying. So we say like a person with his hujjah, because you know when people are trying to debate and argue in the beginning of fitna, there's a lot of ghubar. But it's when that ghubar clears, you'll know. Hisan or mesh, am himar. You'll know if your hujjah is qawiyya, da'ifa, you know. So say it back. ستعلم إذا انجلى الغبار أفرس تحتك أم حمار. Beautiful line of poetry. Yes.
Who is it?
I don't know. This is something that Sheikh Mubil used to recite a lot. But you can type it in on Google. They'll tell you the exact poet that wrote
I
it.
what I heard from Abdul Razak al-Badr, that's why when he said about like knowledge, like صيده والكتاب يقيده, like.
Oh no, yeah.
Who it is? Sorry. His other son. Remember I told you?
Oh, so
That's his little brother.
Oh, 2 sons today, mashallah. But yeah, I mean, قيد الحفظ بالكتاب. That's from the statements of the Salaf. But the point is like what I wrote in the book. It said like when you write out the hadith, you're writing it out from what? You're writing out from your mind, yeah. So you're writing it out the way that your mind is processing it. So now, isn't it easier to put it back into your mind from your own handwriting than to put it, because your mind, you don't write like this. When you write it out, this is not your mind. This is not how your mind functions, but you're going to write it out the way that your mind is processing it. So when you put it back, you're putting it back the way that your mind saw it. You know, the way that you imagined, that's how you wrote it.
That's my problem.
What's that?
Yeah, I'm just saying. That's why I got a problem. I know the Quran, like I already read it already, right? The whole Quran, but I can't, for some reason, I can't memorize. I don't know how to do it.
You got to sit down.
That's what I want to start doing.
No, you got to write it out, and then you got to read it hundreds of times.
Yeah, that's what I want to start doing.
Like if you want to just memorize this hadith for the class, you can sit down and do that 20 times, 30 times, and you can memorize the hadith for the class. 2 days from now, 3 days from now, what? It's gone. If you want to get that into your long-term memory, you have to read something 300 times, 400 times, 500 times, 1,000 times. You know, as many as you have to get it stuck in your mind to where it doesn't leave.
Yeah, that's why I told the sewer all the time. I ain't here.
And most people, they don't have the patience for that. They can just memorize quickly. You know, like most of these brothers, alhamdulillah, you see, they listen to the hadith a few times, they memorize it.
I feel real
But if I come back to you 3 days from now, if I ask you about a hadith from last week, are you going to recite it? No. Ashab al-Jidar, they won't stand up. Yeah, they won't stand up. No, if you memorize it, memorize it, yeah. But most people, they just memorize it quickly. They won't. Yeah, they won't stay, you know. You have to read it a lot. So when I Quran, 500 times. You take the page and read it 500 times. I would say at least 500 times. Not the most, at least, if you really want it stuck in your long-term memory. Yeah. All right, ready? Hadith number 20. Act now. This is not an ad for phone service or something like this. It's act now before fitness starts. All right, عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال بادروا بالأعمال فتنا كقطع الليل المظلم يصبح رجل مؤمنا ويمسي كافرا ويمسي مؤمنا ويصبح كافرا يبيع دينه بأرض من الدنيا رواه مسلم. So here Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, he said that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Badiru bil amal. What does this mean? Yes, it means be quick to act. Don't waste time. If you have the chance and you have the free time and you have the peace right now, he said what? Act now. He said, fitanan ka al-layl al-muzlim. Like the fitan, the trials and tribulations are going to come to you like what? Like the darkness overtakes the day, like the darkness comes over the night, the night comes over the day and covers the complete day until you're in total darkness. Now when all this type of fitna, it comes to you, is it easy to do these acts of worship? So what did the Prophet ﷺ say about doing worship in the times of this fitna? He said, al-ibadatu fil harj kal-hijrati ilayya. He said, worshiping in the times of fighting and killing and fitna, it's like doing hijrah to the Prophet ﷺ because of the difficulty. Because when these types of fitnas, when they start, you start to become preoccupied with other things. Right now, you look at like the different wars in the different countries. People in, like, for example, like people in Yemen. What are people in Yemen concerned with right now? What are we going to eat today? How are we going to pay the rent? How are we going to get the Wyatts to come to the house? The Wyatts. Are you from the north or are you from the south? What do they call it in Adam? They call it what is it? Buzu. What is it? Like Aden, they have a different name for the Wyatts. I forgot what they call it in Aden. The Wyatts. The water truck. No, but in Aden they have a different name for it. Buza or some Buza, right? Yeah. So I think you're talking about one Yemen, but you know what they say in Aden. So yeah, I mean, this is what you're thinking about. In the war, we spent hours running around doing what? Trying to get a double ghaz, just to find ghaz. Because, in the normal days, back in the old days in Yemen, you just sit in your house and what do you hear? Ding, 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 ding. You hear the guys hitting the dubbas in the street. The war started, there's no gas, there's no electricity, there's no food. All the food goes up 3-4 times. You're not thinking about ibadah. Most people, they're so preoccupied about what? Just getting these things that they have to get for their families. And then on top of that, you have a war going on. So this fitna is coming. Now, you don't think that you're just sitting in America and the people over there are going through what they're going through and that you're going to, leave this unscathed. Like this fitna is never going to make it over here. So since we have this opportunity, we have this peace and quiet and, calm for now, use this time. Just like the Prophet ﷺ said, Badiru bil a'mal. Be swift and, using this time, to get these actions.
Prophet ﷺ also said like fitanan, like more than just one fitan.
Because it comes in amwaj, and when it starts, it doesn't stop. Like when the wars first started, when did all the fighting start in Yemen? No, it started in 2004. Yeah, it started in July of 2004. I was in Saada when that started. Yes, and then it started getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. It's amwaj, it comes like, it doesn't come just, and just drown the whole country, but it starts small and then the fitna gets bigger, bigger, bigger. Now look at the country. Look at Somalia. Look at Palestine. Look at Syria. Look at all these countries. Even Egypt, which is now technically peaceful, but they're struggling. The prices of everything have gone up. So, this fitna is going to happen. And we see this even in America. The prices are going up. The people are like in complete opposition to each other. So don't think that we're just going to be sitting here in peace this whole time. That we're going to, like what we see in these other countries that you see in Al Jazeera, that we're just going to stay like this forever. No, it's not. No, it's because it's going to happen here sooner or later. It's not good. And the Muslims are going through what they're going through. Everybody's going to end up going through. So use this time for, that you have the time to act, to start, focusing on the things that are going to get you close to Allah. Because all that stuff that you have in the dunya, we watched those people. All those people that had all the millions and millions of dollars. What did that benefit them when that war started? Nothing. They left all that stuff behind and just to run away with their lives. We watched them run away. Run away and leave left their big villas in Yemen. Big villas with beds, maybe from here to there, And I remember one time when the Houthis first took over Sana'a and they went and they made videos and they were jumping on the beds of all the rich people. You saw those videos? Yeah, so what does all that dunya benefit you now when all this fitna comes? It doesn't benefit you nothing. What benefits you in these times is what? The actions that you do to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So use this time to try to memorize the Quran, learn your deen, learn the sunnah, because that's the only way that you're going to have thabat in those types of times of fitna. So he said, فِتَنًا كَقِطْعِ اللَّيْلِ الْمُظْلِمِ يُصْبِحُ رَجُلٌ مُؤْمِنٌ. So he'll wake up, he'll go into the day as a mu'min. وَيُمْسِي kafir. And then he'll go into the night and he'll left Islam throughout the day. So that he enters into the evening as what? As a kafir. Alright. وَيُمْسِي مُؤْمِنًا. So he'll enter into the evening as a Muslim, and mu'min. وَيُصْبِحُ kafir. And he'll do some actions throughout the night that's going to cause him to leave Islam, so that when he enters into the morning, he's going to enter the morning as a kafir. And what is it going to be for? يَبِيعُ دِينَهُ بِإِيش بِأَرْضٍ مِنَ الدُّنْيَا. Just a little something from the dunya, something. You know, Allah musta'an. Just a little something from the dunya. And that's why Abdullah ibn Mubarak, what did he say in a poem, since we're talking about poetry today? I don't know if I can remember this one, so if I mess it up, go to Google and you can get it correct. But he said, رَأَيْتُ ذُنُوبْ تَمِيتُ الْقُلُوبِ وَيُتْبِعُهَا ذُلَّ إِدْمَانُهَا. He said that I saw that, رَأَيْتُ ذُنُوبْ تَمِيتُ الْقُلُوبِ. I saw that the sins are the things that cause the death of the heart. وَيُتْبِعُهَا ذُلُّ إِدْمَانُهَا. And after that, what comes after the sins is like this dhul, like this, you become like low. Because of the sins, you become like low-based. You know, and then you know, also with the sins comes like idman, because you start to become like mudman with these sins, like you become addicted to the sins, and then so much that you just following your desires, and you're not, you know what I'm saying, you just become like very, very low amongst the people. So he said, رَأَيْتُ الذُّنُوبَ تُمِيتُ الْقُلُوبَ وَيُتْبِعُهَا ذُلُّ إِدْمَانُهَا وَتَرَكُ الذُّنُوبِ حَيَاةُ الْقُلُوبِ وَخَيْرٌ لِنَفْسِكَ وَإِسْيَانُهَا. He said, and leaving off the sins is what? It brings life to the heart. And it's better for you that what? وَخَيْرًا لِنَفْسِهَا. No, it's just leave it off. وَهَلْ بَاعَ الدِّينِ إِلَى الْمَلُوكِ وَالْأَحْبَارِ السُّوءِ وَرُهْبَانُهَا. He said, and who has sold this deen more than the kings and the corrupted scholars? And you know, the kings and the corrupted scholars, they sold the deen because all they want is what? And they want something from the dunya. So they're ready to get any fatwa from anybody to do something haram to make it halal. And these corrupt scholars are ready to sell the sunnah and give up the sunnah just to what? So they can get money from these people with money. And then after that, he said, وَلَقَدْ رَتَعَ الْقَوْمُ عَلَى جِيفَةٍ and يُبِينُ لِعَقْلٍ إِنْتَانُهَا. He said, the people are now رَتَعَ عَلَى جِيفَةٍ. What is a jifa? It's a rotting corpse, but it's a rotting corpse. And he said, لَقَدْ رَتَعَ الْقَوْمَ عَلَى جِيفَةٍ. So what is he referring to here with the jifa? No, he's referring to this earth, this dunya. He said that the people are rata'a. Rata'a means what? You know, when you sit out the animals, the cows to graze. So he said like the people are grazing on a rotting corpse of an animal. Yeah. Yubinu li aqlin. You know, it becomes clear to the person who has a mind. What? Intanuha. Intanuha what? The putrid smell of this dunya. So the people that have an aql, they know how corrupt this world is. And they're not ready to sell their deen for anything in this world. But the people who don't have that type of aql, the people who don't have any concern about the Quran and the Sunnah, you know, what do? They're ready to sell everything for even just a small piece of this dunya. So this is what the Prophet ﷺ was telling you. This is the person. Did you find the hadith or did you find the poem?
No, the hadith. هذه الفتن التي قال عليها رسول الله كقطع الليل المظلم. الآن احنا نعيش فيها وفي خضمها. نعيش فيها الآن.
نعم بلا شك.
يعني الآن احنا نجسد نجسد الحياة الذي وصفها لنا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. يعني we are living the days that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam have spoken about 1,400 years ago. of the days of tribulations
Mm.
and fitan. We are living them today.
Yes.
Today, and he told us what's going to happen to us. Today, we are living this fitan,
Faisal,
this hadith.
Faisal, we live in a day right now where a Muslim man, if he's like obsessed with a girl who's a kafira, he will leave his deen if she told him to leave the deen just so he can marry her. Just like that, he'll leave the deen. And we know this. I mean, we've seen people leave the deen because of money, and we've seen the people leave the deen for, so for positions, just to have the people say, oh, he's fulan, he's fulan, he's fulan. But nah, we maintain this deen. We don't care about, it's not about money, it's not about status, it's not about any of that stuff. We're not doing that for anything. If we die poor, then let us die poor. We die poor, alhamdulillah. I would rather meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the poorest of the poor people. But that iman in the heart, trying to learn the sunnah and trying to do what we got to do is way better than meeting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala like that. Rich man, like, tabir ad-din wa bi ish, arda min ad-dunya, na'udhu billahi min hadha. But that's the people that are so caught up with the people, trying to keep up with the people.
Yeah, Rasulullah was a poor man too. He was a poor man. And he used to,
But by choice.
yes,
Yeah, by choice, because all the money that came to him, he gave it. He never
He
kept.
did not accumulate
Yeah.
wealth. He didn't want the wealth. He did not accumulate it.
One time when he was in the salat, and he finished the salat, and he ran out of the salat, and they asked him, like, he just ran right out. No afkar, no nothing, just ran straight out to his house. And then the Sahaba were like, what happened? He said, and the seat tibran, tibr, like a little piece of dhahab. He said, I remembered it was in my house and I didn't want it to stay in my house without giving, because it's supposed to be for sadaqah. He doesn't keep it. So he remembered that, and he ran out of, after, as soon as the salat finished, he ran back to his house just to get that little piece of gold, just to, give it out to the poor people, so it doesn't stay in his possession.
I have two questions. Well, the first one, you know how you mention about between Muslim and between mu'min, is what you always mention between mu'min, is it part of this hadith? Because the Prophet ﷺ said, mu'minan wa yumsi kafir.
No, that's the mutlaq iman, not the iman mutlaq, because a person who's a mu'min, as far as mu'min and iman and mutlaq, inshallah, but you never know, because people are muftun, akhi. The Prophet ﷺ said in a hadith, he said, لِكُلِّ أُمَّةٍ فِتْنَةٍ وَفِتْنَةُ أُمَّتِي what? No. You're thinking of the hadith of who is that? Al-Mal. You're thinking of أن الدنيا حلوة خضرة وإن الله مستخلفكم فيها فلينظروا كيف تعملون فاتقوا الدنيا واتقوا النساء فإن أول فتنة بني إسرائيل كان في النساء. You're thinking about that hadith. But the Prophet ﷺ said, لِكُلِّ أُمَّةٍ فِتْنَةٍ. Every single nation has a trial, a thing that this is the trial of this nation. And he said, وَفِتْنَةَ أُمَّتِي الْمَالِ. And he said, the fitna and the trial of this ummah is going to be money and wealth. And you see that the people will lie, they're ready to leave salat for money. They're ready to.
العرب مثل بنو إسرائيل يحبون المال. مثل يقولون مثل عيال عمهم.
Yeah, because if you see, like with Bani Israel, كان أول فتنة بني إسرائيل كان في النساء. فالنساء قد أصبحنا يتحكمن عليهم هم. So they, you know what I'm saying? So they became muftun because of this. Their women control them. With the Arabs, alhamdulillah, that issue does not, especially in Yemen, the women are not the hakimat fil bayt. That's the last shot. But the people are muftun bil mal. They're muftun bil mal. They will work, trying to get that money. But if you tell the same person, hey, why don't you expend some of that same energy for the deen? Why don't you expend some of it? He'll sit in the baqala, and you know this, for 16 hours straight. He'll be in that baqala all day long, chewing cot 3 times. I got one over here, one over here. Put it in his nose if he has to. But you tell him, can you just give some of that same energy to what? To the deen. Take some of that energy and go in the masjid and read Quran. You can't do it. There's that fitna, that's what he's focused on. So like right now you have that opportunity. This fitna right now, the fitna in America is khafifa. We don't have the, I mean, it's killing and stuff like that, but it's not like war, starvation, and things like that. So why we have this free time? And it's not going to last for long. Believe me, it's not going to last for long. And, don't enjoy it. Don't sit back but use this opportunity to learn your deen, to get do the actions that, that you have to do to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because the only one that's going to save you in that time of fitna is Allah. The only one that's going to give you thabat in the times of fitna. And if you don't have that thabat in the times of peace, how are you going to have that thabat in times of fitna? Because you prepare for the times of fitna when? And times of peace. Soldiers, they prepare for war. They don't prepare for war in war. They prepare for war when? And in time of peace. And that's what you do. When you know fitna's coming, you prepare for it. You set your mind to it. You try to, get ready for it. You don't sit here and wait till it comes knocking on your door, and now you're going to say, oh, now I'm going to go to the masjid. Now I'm going to, no, if you did not act right before then, you're not going to act right in times of fitna. That's why the Prophet ﷺ said, and I will say the hadith again, al-ibadatu fil haraj ka-hijrati ilayhi. This hadith is in this book, inshallah.
The second question was, those scholars for dollars, the corrupt ones, not the real ones, do they also enter in the ayah where Allah said, like under the ayah where Allah said, where Allah mentioned about how the Jews and the Christians took their monks and rabbis?
That's more or less for the people of taqleed. Yeah, because the people of taqleed, they will reject the sunnah because their sheikh says something else. Like, remember when we were talking earlier today, when we were talking about the isbal, what he said, well, if I bring a sheikh, I said, I don't care what your sheikh said. I'm telling you what the Prophet said. I don't care if my own sheikh that I sat with for years, if he says something that goes against the Prophet ﷺ and the hadith of the Prophet, I don't care what my sheikh said. I reject what my sheikh said because he's going against the Prophet. So the people of taqleed, the people that follow their sheikhs and leave off the sunnah, they have this blind following of like the madhab, when they're like, no, we're going to follow whatever the madhab says. No, you follow what the sunnah says. The madhab helps you, but if you know the hadith and you know that the hadith and the opinion of the madhab goes against the hadith, what? You follow the hadith. You follow the hadith. You don't follow the madhab. So this is more along the blind following people. Allahu Akbar. Any more questions? Sahabu Jidar is about Nanimun. All right. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. Well, let me stop. I told the brothers this before. And I said, man, you see all these brothers coming from Damascus, they're coming to America. All right? None of us wanted to come back to America.